Game Up Hard Hydration. It's like your favorite sports drink and your favorite seltzer got together, had a baby, but it's so much better. 4 great flavors. Dave's going to give you the stats.
Hey, you talking about variety. We got to talk about fruit punch, orange, lemon, lime, and grape. Like Joe said, or didn't say because I was too busy sharing, 110 calories, low carb. Get yourself some Game Up because it's the hottest fucking game drink around. I'm so excited. Let's go, baby.
The question of the week after NXT this week was, will Joe Hendry be the next NXT champ?
I hope so. I mean, I wish he had won the TNA championship at the last pay-per-view there because I think it would be in everybody's best interest if he had the TNA and the NXT championship. I think from TNA standpoint, you really hope that they would put the NXT title on him. Joe Hendry, obviously that would be huge news. But even for NXT and WWE, I think it would be, it would create a nice little wave going here because it would create buzz. People would be like, wow, they really put the title on Joe Hendry. Like, they gave him some victories, but I didn't think they'd do that. And I think that would make for some really cool stuff. I think this is clearly a guy you're going to sign at some point. So I say go for it, and eventually introduce him on the main roster and have him be as hot as he possibly can be because this guy's got more buzz right now. I mean, for a guy who's not been on AEW Dynamite or WWE Raw or WWE SmackDown, this guy probably has more buzz than anybody right now. It's crazy.
100%. I was listening to Between the Sheets, I believe, last week, the podcast, and I believe that David Bixenspan said that he has had an agreement to train at the Performance Center for a little while now.
Yes, he actually did talk about that interview I saw too.
And I thought that was just wild to hear that there has been this working agreement. Is it a good move for TNA? Because I feel like everything about this partnership is leading to Joe Hendry leaving. And what does TNA have to gain from that partnership?
Right now, they're just getting some of the buzz. They're getting some of their talents, and they're getting the TNA name on USA Network. And I would imagine it'll eventually be on the CW network for what it's worth, too. And on a side note, too, like if they're still doing business with them on those CW shows, I don't know if you saw, but they're taking NXT on the road to Chicago, and they're showing a picture of CM Punk on that. And then the second NXT show will be on the road in St. Louis, and they're showing a picture of Randy Orton. So I'm thinking we're going to have Randy Orton and CM Punk on back-to-back NXT. And are we going to get Joe Hendry involved with some of these guys? And again, that's just great business for TNA if it is. The hotter NXT gets, as long as Joe Hendry and there's representation of TNA on there, that'll be good. Now, that being said, this could all end in a couple weeks. I think Joe Hendry is definitely winning this 3-way match. Just look at the other competitors, Pete Dunne and Wes Lee. They're both heels. All right, so just setting up with Ethan Page, who's clearly a heel. You could do heel versus heel, but I don't think they're going to because Ethan Page is such a chicken shit scumbag heel that I think you're going to have that babyface Joe Hendry. That'll create a lot of buzz. Does Joe Hendry actually win the title? We'll see. I always have a hard time seeing WWE or any company actually doing this, but this might be the time.
I mean, I really do like that 3-way match because Pete Dunne, they've really been building him up in a way to get him away from that Butch, to get him back to where he was. Wes Lee turning on the Rascals, having that reason to go for the championship. Very interesting as well. But I got to agree with you. It looks like it's going to be Joe Hendry, and No Mercy is going to be quite an event.
If you haven't tried Game Up, then you are missing out. Imagine your favorite seltzer and your favorite sports drink had a baby, but it's way better than that. Each can is 110 calories, low carb, 4.9 ABV. It's a nice light drink that is not light on flavor. Game Up comes in fruit punch, orange, lemon, lime, and grape. Pick it up at drinkgameup.com or at your nearest liquor store.